Ladies and gentlemen, we are rolling.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the BuzzKlub, and you are now tuned into Confessions of Love, Lust, and Lies. This is a very special panel discussion on relationships, and I am your host, Bintu Honeybee. Tonight, we have some very special guests with us. We have Lex Perry from The Walking Mannequin. We have Luis Marrero from Voices in Power and spoken word artist. We have motivational speaker David Taz Anderson. And we have the lovely Rochelle Zedler, and she is of Rickley Designs. How's everybody feeling tonight?
Great.
Good.
Good.
Okay, so my very first question is about love. What is love? Is it a feeling? Is it an action? What is it to you?
Wow.
I want to know why everybody looked at him. I would say, love is basically, doing anything for that person, or anything for that thing. Like, you say you love a bag or you love a purse, you'll do anything for that thing. I think you'll do, you go to any amounts to please that thing or do anything for that thing. That's what I think love is,
Does anybody else have any thoughts?
Yeah.
What is love?
Actions, it can be feelings, it can be emotions. Like how you said, it has to be something, something that you go to the extent to do for that one specific thing that you admire.
Mm-hmm. David?
Love is misused and misunderstood.
Can you back that up? Excuse me?
Here we go.
Here we go, spicy.
Yeah, everything that y'all said, true. But I feel like in today's society, doing everything to kind of get what you love, a lot of people would take love and then start to accept things that you shouldn't accept because they are in love or they feel that they're in love. Like, lies, falling to temptation or cheating
Deception.
or abuse, anything like that. So that's why I believe that love is misused and misunderstood, because a lot of people justify certain actions
And call it love.
Okay.
David?
To me, love is an action word first and foremost. So it's a verb and it's very powerful. My favorite book says love is patient first. Love is kind. It's not boastful, and it's not prideful. And so you have to be selfless in order to truly love somebody. And the problem is we confuse infatuation with love. We confuse, oh, she got a big old butt. With love. He's got a fill in the blank, ladies, with love. And I think, honestly, it's one of those things where we have to understand what it is. And if you're not willing to be patient and kind to yourself, how can you ever expect to be loved, let alone love somebody else?
That's a very good point.
Well, hallelujah.
Right.
Now, in the setting of relationships, how can someone know if they are in love, and when is the time, do you think, to express that to your partner, if you are feeling in love with them?
You're asking me, or you
I'm
just...
asking everyone on the panel.
I've never been in love, so I can't answer that question.
Why'd you make that face? Like it's
Right.
unheard of to be in love, not to be in love.
He is really tap dancing on my nerves. Because I have a feeling like he is just,
I gotta be the wrench in the machine to kind of mess
Right.
everything up.
Well, for those of you on the panel who may have, experienced love before, how did you know you were ready to say, I love you to that other person in your life?
well, I don't say it first, ever. Ladies, don't say it first.
See, and there you go, that's the problem.
Wait, that's the problem.
to
That's the
me.
problem
And that's why
because
so
love
many
shouldn't be
miss out.
prideful.
That's it.
Love should not
Okay.
be prideful.
Bottom line.
Love should not be prideful.
And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pick on women, but a lot of ladies have this misconception where you have to have all these rules, and I can't say it first because if I say it first, then I lose all the power in the relationship. And if I do this and I do it, if you spent half as much time developing yourself as who you are truly as you did working on these rules, you'd have love by now.
Let's go.
So if you want to be honest about the situation, for me, I met my wife 18 years ago, and the second I saw her, I knew she was going to be my wife. But I just married her in September of last year. We weren't together all that time because I wasn't mature enough, and I knew that about myself. You know, so it all comes down to, you know when you know, but you also have to know when to act.
That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting for Rihanna to act on that.
Okay, so how do we distinguish lust from love?
Lust from love.
What is-
Lust is something. Oh boy, yeah, that's. Lusting after something, wanting to like go after it without any, being able to have bad or good happen. You know, lust, you just go after it no matter what happens.
Yeah.
I think.
Don't caution to the wind, huh?
Right, exactly.
What are some things that you've lusted over in your life?
I would say my biggest section is probably clothes. Like if I ain't got the money, I'm lusting over it and knowing I can't have it. I'm just like, that's a good one. Right, I'm just all up on it. Now men, for some reason, I'm a type of girl that my career always comes first. Guys are like back here. I've never been a girl to, press
Right.
up on guys and just be all into them. They never been like, in school, I wasn't the one writing his name and scribbling it. I was like, okay, let me see what I'm gonna do. Homework done. I wasn't into boys, so
Okay.
I lust over things mostly.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to talk about deception a little bit. All right, in a relationship, is there ever a time where you should hold things back from your partner and you shouldn't tell everything?
I'm gonna answer, but I'm not gonna like go into the open-ended just yet. No, I feel like you shouldn't.
Okay.
You shouldn't
You
hold
should be
it.
100% honest at all times.
Yes.
On everything.
Yep.
Okay. Everyone
Love
agree?
shouldn't hide
I
anything.
agree. They should be your partner should be your best friend. If you can't communicate with them, then there's a problem. You're not meant
Communication.
to be together.
Okay, so
is
communication plays a big part.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
So how much does sex play in a relationship? If communication is a big part, is sex also a major part as well? Or does it not matter?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Nobody else wants to say it, I'll say it. Absolutely.
But having that passion for someone else too, not necessarily just, the having interaction or anything, but just have a passion for someone and being able to, be admired to them and how they look, how they speak, how they go about themselves as well.
So if you fell for somebody first for their personality and you love them and everything, and say sex wasn't in the equation, and then you had sex and it wasn't that good, would you continue the relationship?
I
Or would
feel
you
like you
immediately end it?
No,
No.
you can't immediately end it off of something like sex. But I feel like nowadays,
Right.
not to bash women or anything, but a lot of women take good sex, and again, what I stated earlier, allow that to cloud what love is.
In their better judgment.
Yes.
Jill Scott called it digmatized. A lot of women are digmatized? You know?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. How long do you guys think is the perfect time to wait before having sex with a new partner?
That's another thing that he stated on where you shouldn't make rules.
Exactly.
I don't believe you should have.
You like, he said it, but I'm elaborating on
He
it.
said it, but I'm going to tell you what
elaborating on it.
he meant when he said that.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but you shouldn't have rules going into a relationship like that. You shouldn't walk into the relationship like, I'm not going to do this, that, and the third
Right.
if this, that, and the third doesn't happen.
Right.
Every person is different. Every situation is going to be different, and you should approach it, as it comes, not with the schedule or list.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not going grocery shopping.
I love the schedule. I think the schedule is the dumbest thing women have ever fallen for in the past 5 years.
Well, Steve Harvey said,
Oh, I was about to go
Hey,
there.
I can't even, yeah.
I was
I
about
don't
to
know
go
how
there.
many people saw the movie or read the book, Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady. He said when starting a new relationship, women should give men at least 90 days before they give it to them to assess.
Okay.
That's
What do
foolish.
you think about
All right.
that?
It's a
It's
crock.
foolish.
Why?
Here's why it's a crock. I'm going to be honest because I wasn't always who I am now. And I will tell you that as a man, when I was a dirty, low down dog, if one woman was like, well, you just have to wait this amount of time. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go date her and get it from her and get it from her. And the other part of that is, why do you need a Steve Harvey or anybody else to tell you what you should be doing with your own body? The same way you don't need a man to tell you when to get an abortion, the same way you shouldn't have to have a man tell you when to have sex. You know, you're an adult. If that's the choice that you choose to make, you choose to make it when you feel it's right and when you feel you have enough knowledge of that person to know what's going on. And that might want to start with an STD test, but that's just my opinion.
So,
Let's talk.
to piggyback off of that, so if I wanted to sleep with you the first night, it's no problem. You wouldn't see me any differently, right? Because it's just, what does it doesn't matter. What if we have a connection? What if I want to sleep with you the first night?
Well, that's a choice that two consulting adults make. And if two consenting adults make that choice, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I've never had a one-night stand and done some things that are questionable.
But it doesn't mean it's going to be a one-night stand.
It doesn't mean that at all. I'm not going to say that I didn't start relationships and got it in the first night. I'm not going to say that because that wouldn't be the truth.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, what I do in my bedroom or in your bedroom or in the back of a car is what I choose to do.
Right.
You know, and I have to
Tell
deal
the
with the
drive.
consequences of those, you know, of those decisions. And if you're not willing to do that, then don't do the act.
But answer the question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Does it make a difference?
Does it make a difference?
If she slept with you on the first night, would you go on to marry that woman?
That's a loaded question because if it's one, no, here's why. Because if it's somebody who I'm just physically attracted to and that's all it's going to be, then that's all it's going to be. Now, if it's somebody who I have an instant, really deep down in my soul, metaphysical type of connection with,
After
and
that
we
first
have.
time?
No, before the first time, and then the first time happens, and then we got 4th of July,
not a one-night
then that's what it is.
But that-
That's not
what-
a one-night stand. It's a different type of thing.
Well, we weren't talking about the one night stand, but like if you met someone,
Right.
how do you know the difference between if it's going to be just a physical attraction or if it's something deep inside your soul that you know that you can take it to a point where you can sleep with this woman and continue to have a relationship where she might be something more than the possible one night stand that she would have ended up being?
When you feel something in your soul, you know it's in your soul. It's a different kind of feeling. See, the problem is people tend to equate love with what's in their pants versus what's in their heart. And so you know because you get a feeling like you've never felt before. You know, if you've ever seen Highlander, they call it the quickening. It's something you recognize. And I can't explain it to you because you, like you said, you've never had that. But I will tell you, when I met my wife, it was different. And when I fell in love with my wife, it was different. You know, and I've been with a lot of different women over the course of my life, but my wife is different. That's why she's my wife. And that's all I can tell you. It's a feeling. I can't tell you what it is. It's 3 pounds of this. It's just a feeling.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Okay. In the arena of dating, right? A lot of people play games. Do you think it's wise to have a little game playing in the beginning and playing a little? Well, by game playing I mean hard to get in the beginning.
It
You
makes
think
it
it's wise?
interesting.
Yeah?
Definitely.
That's
to
to
an
me. I'm a
extent,
get player.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And
Do you ever stop playing games in a relationship as it proceeds, or do you always keep playing games?
I'm kind of. Do y'all watch Gossip Girl? I'm kind of like Blair Waldorf, and my guys like Chuck Bass. We go back and forth with the game. But some people are different.
Right.
Different personalities. Some things work for different people.
What do you think about the game playing?
I don't believe in it.
Okay.
You
Why
know,
not?
here's the thing. Chris Rock said that a lot of times when you start messing with people, you get their representative as opposed to who they are. Now, I'm not saying you need to go show up at the coffee shop and meet this nice guy and tell him that, you know, the last 3 guys you were with dogged you out and beat you. But what I am saying is don't pretend to be something that you're not. Oh, I see his phone call and I really like him and I want to pick up the phone, but I need to let him wait. And then you wonder why he moves on to somebody who does answer the phone. You set yourself up for failure because you're so worried about these rules and these games that you never allow it to take its natural course. Doesn't make any sense.
I agree with that. It definitely changed my response.
I think there's different levels of games. I think there's ones that are manipulative that you do on purpose.
Okay.
I think there's ones that you do, like you said, to play hard to get, but not necessarily to hurt anyone's feelings.
Right. See that? Go
So because I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I think not everyone is malicious when they do
Right.
do that. But there are some people who are malicious, like, oh, I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna play hard to get, and then when they get it, continue on with it and make things worse. So it's
but
the level that
here's
you
the
do it
thing.
upon.
If you're hungry and you want a sandwich, are you going to say, you know, I'm going to wait for this sandwich? I'm just going to standing right in front of you. You want the sandwich. You're hungry. You want to eat. The sandwich is for you, but you're going to wait. You're going to wait to the point where the bread starts to get moldy, you know, mayonnaise starts to turn, all because
Now you got
I'm
me
playing hard to
hungry.
get.
Okay.
It's senseless.
And I don't mean as far as playing hard to get, because I think that's part of the game plan's out the window. I think
Okay.
playing hard to get is.
Well, dating has changed so much since back in the day, as you guys can tell. What are some pet peeves that you may have when it comes to dating, those of you who are single? Or those of you who have just experienced dating within the past few years? What are some changes, some pet peeves that you just...
When people think they know everything and they won't let you get in word edgewise. That's
How about
the one- that's
communication?
number
Does
one.
texting, has that changed? Has it changed communication?
Yes, like if say you're on a date and all they are is on social media,
Uh-huh.
you be like, well, are you following me? Like, cause they're like literally like tweeting and texting, and I'm like, you just better be following me, cause you're on your
Yeah.
phone the whole entire time.
Well, why does it matter if they follow you? If they're not showing you any interest or any attention, you shouldn't even matter about taking it anywhere from then on.
Pretty much.
Right,
Anyway.
no, but I was
Yeah.
just
I got you. But I was just being that rant again.
go ahead.
I feel like in today's time with technology being the way it is, communication is horrible. I know a lot of people that got everything to say, via text, and we get in front of each other and then they're a completely different person.
Okay.
They're shy, they don't have anything to say. We go out to eat, they don't have nothing to say. As soon as I drop you off at the house, now you got a bunch of stuff that you want to discuss. So I think, the way, media is today, it definitely affects a lot of people's relationship. But again, it starts with us because we allow it.
All right. So what about even paying for dates? It seems like today's men, they don't feel like they should have to be chivalrous.
They weren't raised by the right mom.
Thank
Okay.
you.
was
I
about
hate
to
this
say,
whole
like,
today's
what?
men thing.
Yeah, because
Look at the ladies.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you finish. Go knock yourself out.
whether it's, friends, whether it's a business meeting, whether it's something I'm interested in or, someone or anything like that, pick up the tab. I don't really think it's that big of a deal.
Right.
To, go. Plus, to me, even when I take out friends, if it's 3, 4 friends, and it's all guys, I would still pick up the tab because I just hate the awkwardness of, people who's going to pay what and
Right.
who's going to throw up what. So I think it's just easier, to pay the tab. Don't
about
take
you, Dave?
nobody where you can't afford.
No.
Yeah.
Dave, you have anything to say? Piggyback with that?
Honestly, if I invite you out and I want to spend time with you, am I really going to trip over dinner? And then I'm going to tell you this before, and I've had this conversation with you. There's a difference between someone who is an adult male. Matter of fact, if you're 18, you're a man according to the law. But if you are a man, you have certain things that are innate. That doesn't come when you're 18. And so you have to know the difference between an adult male and a man. And if you don't, I pity you.
Okay, now you stated that if I ask you on a date, now I've been out where a female has asked me, Louis, do you want to go, to this, that, and the
Okay,
third.
that's a valid example.
When we get there, what happens?
What happens? What happened?
Because again, I don't have no problem with reaching my. This actually.
What happened? I
This
need to know.
this actually happened. It's happened to me on more than one occasion, and it was all something different. This actually just happened to me a couple of days ago.
Did you pay?
She she asked me to go out, so we went out. We ordered the food or whatever. It wasn't no fancy place or whatever.
Right.
We went to Solidworks. I love Solidworks. So she ordered her food, and I thought, since she asked me out, whatever, that she would pay. She paid for her thing, grabbed her tray, and walked on. It wasn't a problem, but I was just like, all right, so I see how it is.
But yeah, because if I ask you to do something with me, I'm gonna pay for it.
That's how I feel
Why
it
not?
should be.
If I ask you,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
Right.
I shouldn't just assume that you're gonna pay, but that's just me, Rashad?
I believe that the gentleman, he should, especially if he asked the woman out. But I also do believe that women, as we
Yeah.
are becoming more
More
independent,
independent.
we should be able to also treat, the men
Sometimes,
just
yeah.
as nice and be able to even, show up with a nice gift, every now
Exactly.
and again.
Right.
Now, not to the point where they expect it all the time,
Right.
but in that,
Not to cut you off, okay? Thank you so much, Rochelle, for your comment. We're about to turn it to the audience because I heard a lot of highs and ooh. So I want to know what's going on. And now I'm going into the audience. So if you have a question, please raise your hand because here I come. What's your name and age?
Hi, my name is Lisa Marie, and I have a blog, so some of these questions will be on my blog. And my question is for Lou. You said that a lot of females, I quote, confuse good sex for love. I just want to put it out there that men do too. I actually had my best male friend tell me that he'd rather date hoes because good girls act like they don't know how to give it up. That's what he told me. And I found it interesting. No, I really did find this interesting. I want to know what other males' perspective on this. Is it that the good girl's sex isn't good enough, or they're not giving it up quick enough, or what?
They bougie with it.
He's not looking for what he's supposed to be looking for.
Okay.
Now, we were talking about love. If you want love, sex, if he states, I'd rather date a hoe, that alone, you know.
This is the thing. He's telling me he wants a relationship. He wants a relationship.
He just wants a good time in bed. He doesn't want a relationship.
Right.
He wants a good relation.
So as a man,
Okay.
that's the advice to him. He wants a relationship.
He wants relations, not a relationship.
All right.
Anybody else in the audience that have something to say? Okay, all right, I'm coming over there. Yes. Yes, looking cute, girl.
I know that's
Yes.
right. Work.
Yes, okay, girl. Let's go. What's your name, honey?
I'm Zaira Strickland. The question is, should you sleep with a guy on the first date? I think there's nothing wrong with that if you know, if it depends on, because I've been with my child's father for 10 years and I slept with him on the first day. On the first night, I didn't know his last name, his mom's name, where he was from, or what he really do for a living. So, you know, I mean, it took us 5 years before we had my daughter, but I don't think, I just feel like if you feel a connection with that person, you can go ahead and, you know, do it. And as far as the playing games and keeping things away from people, I think that you should. I don't think you should give your all to nobody in the beginning. Now, in the end, I still think you should keep some stuff to yourself, even though you could be devoted and in love with them 100%, but I still feel like you should keep some stuff to yourself.
Why do you do that?
Why? Because I have to keep some stuff to myself. I feel like I can let you know everything that's important, but some things I feel like I should keep to myself.
I feel like a lot of people do things like that based off of their past. Because he did this to me when I did that, now I can't do it to the next
Well,
person.
I don't really, my past is definitely makes me who I am, and I don't hold grudges. I'm not a person that holds grudges. I mean, I just feel like from experience and what I learned during life and what I seen growing up, I feel like you should keep some stuff to yourself.
I mean, especially if it's not gonna hurt.
If it's not
you know?
gonna hurt them, right?
Nothing
then it should be-
Like, how many people did you sleep with? I don't discuss
Right.
Like, that's some stuff that you should keep to yourself. Yeah.
that. Thank you, Zaira. Is anybody else in the audience? Yes, thank you.
Oh, we got a man.
Oh, sorry. Yes. 16.
Oh, check it out.
Okay, what's your name?
My name's Phil. My question was for the whole panel, really. When we were talking about the deception topic, and we were saying, you know, are you supposed to tell everything? And it kind of started to come up right here. But I was going to ask this before you said that. But
He's like, I didn't write
so my question is kind of about the timing, right? Because yes, I want to tell you everything, but on the first conversation, am I really going into all this stuff? Listen, let me just pull out all my my whole life for you know. So I just wanted to kind of ask about the timing and how you allow these things to unfold. Would you encourage, you know, kind of do you want to enforce and try to force conversation out, or are you going to wait until it kind of comes up? So just asking about the timing.
That's a good one.
I wait until things come up. I'm not gonna be like, hey, let's go, you know, in the living room, let's talk about all, you know, everything. No, like if we're out to dinner and certain topics come up, then we'll talk about it. But
I feel like when you first get to know someone, that's what you have to keep it as. I'm not trying to know, you know, your entire history. I just want to know, you know, things you like to do, how you are with your family, what you go to school for. I think in the beginning, it should be basic conversations where deep things that you want to hold shouldn't even come up. And when those deep things should come up, then they're meant to come up and you talk about it. But in the beginning, it shouldn't even touch that where you feel like, whoa, it's too early to even discuss that.
Any other questions from the audience? Yes, honey. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Jerica. Thank you. I had a question. Actually, I have two questions. It kind of ties into the what should you keep to yourself thing. Do you believe in a phrase, once a cheater, always a cheater? Like, do you believe that someone can be reformed if they've cheated in their past, or?
Good one, honey.
I don't think so. Because people change. Like alcoholics, do you think they're always gonna be alcoholics? Or a recovering addict. Like they're not gonna.
Are there sex addicts out there? Eric Benet?
Right.
I think people can change. I think people can find God. I think people can do a lot of different things. So I do believe people can change, but then also people, if they have that mentality that that's all they want is to do to cheat and still be with a good person, you know, then that's on them.
Second question. Since you're the only person that's married, so I guess the other people, how long should you date or be in a relationship with someone before you consider marriage or think about marriage? And how young is too young, or like what's a good age and all that good stuff?
That's great. I have a few friends in here that are married, so that's a great question. Yeah.
Wow. As a rule of thumb, just based on my experience and just dealing with counseling people, I would say that your 20s are your time to make all your mistakes, date, enjoy yourself. No one, male or female, should be thinking about marriage until they are 30. At 30 is when you start.
Whoa.
When you start, because y'all have been trained. Women especially have been trained to start thinking about marriage from the time that they're 4. Okay, real rap. Think about the baby dolls you play with. Think about playing princess. And the phrase of every single fairy tale is, and they lived happily ever after.
Okay.
So your 20s are for you to date, enjoy yourself, find out who you are and what you like.
I disagree.
And then,
Louise. You better, boy.
So, and then at that point, I would, in my 30s, I would start to think about, what it is that you want. If you are the person that you're ready to attract at that point, because you've lived your life, you've seen the world, you've done what you wanted to do, you've established your careers. Because the last thing you want to do, and I see this a lot with people, they get married and then they have a whole bunch of, if only I had done this, but I can't because I have the kids and I have the carpool and that. So that's my advice. Live your life and then decide what it is.
Well, to touch that real quick, but I'm going.
Okay.
They're like, I want to do this, but I can't because I have kids. What if what they want to do is have kids and have a wife? That's that. All right, another thing. Earlier, now you're going back on what you're saying. No, I just wanted to throw that out real quick and then get back into the main
put it out there, you know what I'm saying? Look.
Earlier, now you said, 20 should be where you have fun, kind of experience life, making mistakes. Don't you consider that a rule? And earlier you said you wouldn't make rules.
No.
Oh, contradiction.
That's not a rule. What I said was, if you backtrack, as opposed to trying to have a cross-examination, because I'm not on trial, what I said was, for me, if you go back and you run back to tape, for me, in my experience, what has worked and what I have seen and what I would say is this. Not this is the rule that you should follow because after 90 days, then all of a sudden he's going to turn into Prince Charming, or this is how it's going to be. If you want to get married and have kids and that's your life goal, absolutely. But I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about people who want to see the world, who want to establish themselves, who want to do things. Because you can get caught up. Marriage, as somebody who's actually married, I can tell you, marriage in and of itself is an entirely different career.
How many times have you been married?
Twice. Next question.
Ooh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. I got something from the audience. Hold on a second now. Hold up.
How would you? You don't know me. You just get to know me.
You're right.
All right now. What's your name, honey?
Danisha.
Okay, Danisha.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm just going to comment on the marriage conversation because I am married and I am in my 20s and I've been married for 9 months. So I wouldn't say there's an age that you would put on marriage. It depends on the individual. Absolutely. It depends on how mature you are. Absolutely. Just because we're married doesn't mean we can't follow our dreams and aspirations. Me and my husband are doing that doesn't mean we can't travel. So we're building together. Yeah, and I just think it's more beautiful because then, 10 years from there, we can look back and see everything that we have. So there's no age. There's no time frame. It just depends on the relationship. You have to do what feels right and what's best for you.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Danisha. Yes. Yes. Okay. Hold on. Something from the audience. Okay. Yes, honey. What's your name, honey?
Amira. Okay. I'm gonna chime in on the marriage thing because I think I got what he said, but then I got what you said.
Absolutely.
He was basically saying that people are so in I need to be married, I need to set an example that they lose themselves. They don't know what's going on. I'm marrying this person, I just met him. I don't really know what I love about him yet. Like I feel like people should be in the 20s, my mom always told me, party, live the life, do whatever it is that you think you might want to do. But then when you get, ready to settle down, be ready to settle down. Go to school.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being on our show today. I just want to thank our sponsors, Coco Nell, Celebrities Cupcakes, Wrigley Jewelry, and thank you all for coming on the show. We really enjoyed it tonight. Thank you.
We done now?
Thank you. It was my first time.
Oh, man, it's not bad.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. for watching. I see you again next time.